you okay? Oh, do you mean online piracy?
Online piracy? Online piracy? Online piracy?
Piracy. I guess it's been a major topic of conversation during recent years, with the increase of product availability online. So is online piracy good or bad? I don't know for sure, but as an actor, I've heard that it really varies. Ever since I was a kid, watching my grandfather's old films, I wanted to act. I would see him up on stage or in front of a camera and my heart would race. The adrenaline I got from imagining myself up on stage was amazing.
Watching Michael sit in front of that television screen always made me smile. I could tell that he admired his grandfather to an extent that I couldn't even dream of. And every time I saw that look on his face, I knew that he would pursue that same path.
My grandfather is definitely the inspiration behind my desire to get into the film industry. Back in the 40s, when he was my age, around the age I am now, he starred in his first major movie called Wordsmith. It was a huge hit. His popularity went through the roof, and everyone was offering him new opportunities. He was a cowboy in The West Watchers, a sailor in Sea Tales. Dozens of acting opportunities were thrown at him, one after the other. He was on top of the world.
My father eventually came to be known as one of the best actors in the film business.
And now here I am, in the dressing room of my own feature film. It is an amazing experience.
Can I have your autograph?
Oh yeah, dude, totally, man.
Thank you.
So who do I make this out to?
Alex.
Alex, okay.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Michael's movies. He's really good. Did I see them in theaters? Oh, no, I watched them online.
What do I think of people watching my films online? That's not easy. I always thought that acting would be tough, or I wouldn't make any money, or be successful. But I've been doing alright. I guess that during recent times, pirating has become really common. So I never really think about it.
I've done some torrenting, yeah, on Michael's movies, a few of them. Though I also bought a collection of his best movies a couple weeks ago. It had Yellow Dawn in it. Such a good movie.
You know, I've noticed, the people that download my films online are the same people that buy the physical copy. It's a question of having it in your hands or not.
Here's a way of putting it. People lend books to each other all the time. I just finished reading my friend's copy of Good Omens yesterday, and I didn't pay anything for it. Is there going to be a SABLA Stop All Books Lending Act? No. I don't think so. Is the book industry shutting down? Absolutely not.
There was a study done a few years ago by two economists that talked about the relation of torrent sites and ticket sales for films. They looked into the lag between releases in the United States and releases internationally. Most movie companies will wait for a few weeks before putting their films in international theaters, and during this lag, a lot of people from those countries tend to torrent the film because it's not yet available to them. Who hasn't been a little annoyed because someone else is watching a film before you can? I know I have.
To tell you the truth, another thing brought up in the study Dr. Jacobson was talking about is that the longer the lag between releases, the more money those companies lost. If these people don't have any legitimate ways to see the films that they want, then companies will have to find some, or else they'll have to deal with more and more losses.
I've heard the production crews in my films talk a lot about piracy, and it always makes me think back to my grandfather. Did he ever have these issues on his mind?
I never heard my father talk about anything like that, since there was no internet back then. Before he got big, his concerns were always, how will I get my name out there? Will I ever get noticed by a movie company?
I suppose that's a good aspect of piracy. It gets your name out there a lot faster. YouTube is a great example. Ease of accessibility is helpful in that it spreads things around like wildfire. If you're a talented actor and knows how things spread, then sometimes it's easier to showcase that online. In some cases, it can really start a person's career.
One thing that always pops up in my studies is that people who pirate are not people that buy tickets to the theaters anyway. If they didn't download it, they probably wouldn't have bought tickets anyway. So, does this cause a loss? Not really. If they weren't going to go see it in the first place, then where was that money going to go? It doesn't disappear. It probably goes into a local clothing business or a fast food chain. Either way, their money is supporting something.
Even though people are over-exaggerated the losses of piracy, it doesn't mean that there aren't losses at all. It's still affecting these industries in a negative way, but I'm sure there's a way of overcoming it that doesn't involve any of that SOPA or PIPA stuff. Making piracy illegal isn't doing anything. If the companies find ways to let people access their content easily and work with the piracy, then who knows? Things could start looking up. Netflix is a good example. It still supports the companies, but hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people use it due to the ease. Even I do.
It really feels like the issue of piracy depends on the circumstances. Big companies lose money, and small companies get their names spread around. If we companies could expect piracy, then who knows? Maybe they could find a way to work with it. I don't think pirating will disappear anytime soon, so why not? I'm sure that my grandfather never dreamed that things like this would happen in the future. And I think we should enjoy it while we still can.
And go. Oh shit.
Sorry. Smart.
I also bought a couple of it. Sorry.
Oh, the flippy. Okay.
Why do you want to be your grandfather's actor? I don't know.
I'll tell you a story about Little Red Riding Hood. She had long, curly, some long blonde curls. She had an amazing rack with a full bush. She was walking down and she had a dog named Bow Wow. And the trail was full of amphetamines, needles, and blow, cocaine. And as he was going down there, the dog took a bite of some amphetamines and ran around in circles, attacked a squirrel, and fell over dead. And Little Red Riding Hood was going to go see his grandmother. Grandmother was a transvestite. Didn't know about that until later on. She was a nice little girl. Mom and Dad was Frank and Mary Lennon. She was adopted. Odd couple. So when Little Red Riding Hood came to the grandmother's house, grandmother was whispering, saying very quietly. Little Red Riding Hood couldn't understand. So when Little Red Riding Hood came up to him, pulled out a 55 caliber rifle and shot and blasted a lady across the hallway. Moral of the story is, don't whisper.